Car crashes are obviously hilarious, so this week on Radge we're going to be talking about racing games with massive destruction and doing so while pulling off some epic handbrake turns. Hello? Yeah, just filming it now. What do you mean it's illegal to film? And the handbrake turns, are they just... I took out the thing about it being hilarious to crash your car. Alright, see you later. No much point in being out here then, is there? For a long time, players had to be content with just pulling a U-turn at the start of a race and nudging the rest of the cars off the track like a load of pixelated curling stones. But then in the mid-2000s, our prayers were answered. The Burnout series is the undisputed champion of simulating all the fun of compressing your car into an A4 sheet of paper without the certain death. Spanning several titles across the PS1 era to the 360 era, the series endeared itself not only to fans of cars, but fans of automotive chaos. It would be almost enough to be a great racing game with flashy takedowns and pseudo-accurate car damage, but Burnout went above and beyond with the inclusion of crash mode. It's a sort of Michael Bay remake of the nightmare you had the night before your driving test. The last Burnout title was the fantastic Paradise in 2008, and well, it's overdue a return. A lot like another much beloved EA series, but I think I'll just skate past that one this week. You can tell something is overdue a return when games start to come out that are sequels in all but name. Danger Zone by Three Fields Entertainment is essentially crash mode distilled down to a basic, if sterile, formula. It does feel like Burnout, which makes sense considering Three Fields is made up of ex-Criterion Games employees, but it doesn't have the same scope that fans are looking for, something they look to correct in Danger Zone 2 later this summer and Dangerous Driving later in the year. Other modern contenders are the high-octane genre blending I'm not quite sure what's happening but I'm having fun on Rush, a curious blend of Burnout and Motorstorm with extremely light dustings of MOBA and class-based hero shooters in there. There's also Wreckfest, which seems determined not only to destroy cars but any system that dares run it. Burnout is stuck in the same studio limbo that a lot of EA properties are. People are desperate for a sequel, but the problem is that people that made those games don't work there anymore. And it could end up just like Mirror's Edge Cash Grab. Oh no, sorry. Mirror's Edge Catastrophe? No, that's not what it's called. Mirror's Edge, can't believe you did that to Mirror's Edge and then Mass Effect only a couple of years later. That was it. On the serious end of the scale, you have the Your Dad's Car magazine, The Game, Forza 7, which is simultaneously the most visually stunning and life-threateningly boring racing game on the market, and the less said about Need for Speed's recent offerings the better. Maybe it's time for racing games to put on the brakes, change their tyres, grease the wheels. They're running out of road, they're running on fumes, they're running headlong into a wall, which I guess is sort of the point.